Thank you.
Too much talking and can never.
Yeah.
Remind me,
Yeah, because I do want to talk to you about that.
that was from the last time they tried to do.
Right, so I want the receipt.
I have copies of the over here.
Perfect.
Here is brother.
No? A few more seconds.
Yeah, we don't go to check. Nope.
Yeah, it is.
Now
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise and pledge allegiance with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Amen. Can I get a roll call order?
Mr. Goff? Yes. Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Here.
Mr. Dornan?
Here.
Mr. Gongwer?
Here.
Mr. Nemitz said he would be absent. Mr. Vaca?
Present.
Ms. Dice?
Here.
Mr. Antonacci? Chief Carlson? Mr. Cranebucker? Mr. Radicka? Here.
Okay, approval of minutes for the meeting on 8/21. You all received a copy, whatever wishes of council.
I make a motion to approve them as presented.
I have a motion, do I have a
He
second?
does that every meeting. Oh,
Okay, yeah. Any discussion or, questions on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Next is the public comment. Is that?
I have no comments for agenda.
No comments for agenda items, okay. Comments from borough officials.
Am I allowed to say something?
Yeah, you're a borough official.
Why is that busy?
What?
First week of mayor has been
What's beeping?
something to be.
Smoke on battery.
It sounds like back here.
Okay, well, somewhere.
This area.
First week of mayor has been good. We've been trying to accomplish a lot in a very little bit of time. So at some point, I'm gonna need some council help, just making you all aware. Okay?
Okay. Any other official,
Yes.
gag me with a spoon.
borough officials, comments? Okay. Moving on to old business. And that is, no, we didn't have any. Sorry, we didn't have any old business. We have new business, which is the discussion on the community room sound system. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Cherry,
The last meeting, I got the sound system down to tying up some of the loose ends with it, and the place we're in now is I contacted 3 other companies than the one we've been talking to. I spoke to Audio Link Services, Centrum Sound, and Adco. They were close in numbers, but the ones we originally picked were picked simply because these were looked at online, and now there was conversations with them, and by the time they reached the numbers of the ones we already had, they still didn't have the entire system put together. So, pass these out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, is that right? Yeah, please.
Chuck, is there one for me or should I share?
Yeah, there should be none.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you that was the first question at the last meeting was, because we're under the bid threshold, the best thing was to get 3 others, that type of thing, and, just speaking to them, and I printed out their websites and went through all that with them, so I have it here if it's needed. Secondly, this is the one I sent around at the last meeting. I don't know if anyone still needs one.
Chuck, hold on a second.
Go ahead.
This says page 1 of 3, and I only got 2.
I think the last page, this is the one that I scanned
Yeah,
and
that's because the
emailed,
last page was,
is blank.
is their name.
Yeah, it's.
What is their name? This doesn't, at least I don't see it. Is it conference microphones?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
name of it?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. Well, so this company that I believed was to be more of the successful pricing, the woman I've been speaking to is Monica Goldman. She is a vice president there, and she's has them in stock if we want to move quick on it. And because of the fact that this is quite an old issue, it's something we should definitely consider. Keep in mind, let me go over in case the public didn't hear it the last time. This gives us 8 speakers, or excuse me, microphones that are, it's 8-person inter-sound conference system, goes around this table.
Excuse me, wait a minute, Chuck. Is this for the first bidder that's on here?
There should only be one on them.
There's one there and then one there.
I can't hear.
No, these are all, this is all
2
one.
pages.
Okay.
Total.
This is the one that Chuck found the last meeting. He said he spoke to, I think, audio links and central sound.
It's audio link, Centrum Sound, CENTRUM, and ADCO, AECO, ADCO Hearing Products.
Okay, thank you.
And then the rest of your list is just the wiring, cables, things like that. There is interfaces and adapters. There's a case that, when we take a look at this a little deeper, I'm not sure we need a case. The case is for if you're gonna take all of this equipment, put it in the case, you take it with you when you leave. I think in the long run here, you know, if we get it, we get it, but once we do something different in this room, then it's a $400 charge, $469 that I'm not sure we're gonna need. 20-person assisted listening system with neck loops and ADA plaques for here in the room. That system was a question by Attorney Patricia Monahan. She's helping with us with this as well. And this earpieces that you use are for putting a loop over your ear, put it in your ear, or you can hang it on your neck. If someone comes in with an existing hearing aid that is Bluetooth compatible, and most of them are today because they go to your phone, so you can take phone calls. As long as it has that, your phone is gonna come up with this call of this, because you pass through, if you come in this room, all you do is touch it, and now everything goes from the system to your phone to your ear. So it's just like taking a phone call. So we satisfy her with that. We have a little bit of paperwork to still clear up, and, I missed a few more pieces. Then there is, Doi, vocal set, which sits up here, 2 speakers, and a station underneath the desk. So there, it will send the voice straight out, so anyone not wanting to wear them, our microphones will shoot the voice right to the audience. And JBL PA system. 300 weight channel power mixer. So realistically, this is as clear as we can get. If we rent this room out for any use that needs it, they're gonna have the use of it. Set up that if a DJ came in here, the DJ can plug right into it using our front speakers, and I guess do the sound system as well. So it's a very complete system. We sent it to the ADA for final compliance, and it seems like it's passed all of that. Geraldine, can I ask you, you also took a look at all this?
No, I haven't received any of that.
No, this packet I gave you? On
The
system?
one from last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that one.
Yeah.
I agreed with that one, but the new stuff that you're talking
I'm
about.
reading from that same.
Okay,
That's everything that I gave you with here. It's all the same.
okay,
Same
Mr. Chair.
company, same equipment is what's
Okay.
here. So, pretty much, I believe that at this point, everyone's in compliance, and it's up to council at this point. This price of all of this is $7,644.60. Sorry? Yeah, the 489, the case itself, let me say this. I'm gonna explain this other one before we even move to vote on this, just so that we know about that $400. Because if we take that $400 and put it into this, I think we're, again, if you would like to go on these to Mike, just to see Mike has a question. You do? Yeah. I was shopping out this Manor Borough conference table, sit right here. It has this straight front, it's a little closer together than it is here now, not by much. You'll see it is 144 inches on the back side. Holds 6 chairs. 4 chairs come out in this direction off a 45-degree angle from it. One goes over there. It'll sit all the people we see now plus 2.
Yeah.
So, if we have to put more in there, all we have to have is the chairs. This, I got it spec'd out by the gentleman directly across the street who actually built this. In his, price, that you see written on the lower left corner, $8,900. That $400 on the podium is this, so I'd like to talk to him about, rather than building another podium, why don't we knock that off and shorten it so people can see through it or over it. It's gonna have a wireless microphone on it and just detail it out like you would the front of this so they all match. So we may have $800 to play with on both of them, even though we're doing them separately.
I got a question.
Me too.
If you read the new business, it says community room sound system. That's not the sound system.
This is where the sound system sits. This table is where the system sits. The box, and this has to do with the sound system on where we're gonna spend $400 on a case that puts all of this systems in a big case to carry away.
You're talking 469,
Yeah,
page 1.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I have another question. On page 2, there's another case.
That holds all the headphone things, Dave.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at
Yeah,
that.
that holds these 20 for the residents.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one you want because you keep those charged in that case, and as many as you need to put out, you put out. My belief is if you have, because there's 20 there, if you have regular residents that come to the meetings all the time, it's probably not a bad idea to have them sign one out. Because then you're not mixing them all the time, sanitizing, doing all those COVID kind of things. If somebody's here a lot, and we got 2 or 3 people that need them, sign them out. You know what I mean? If they stop coming, if they stop, yeah, then we gotta sanitize them, we gotta keep clean, all those things. This way, let them have their own.
Or those small bins,
Yeah,
with their name on it, with their name.
So anyway, that, either way that works, the reason for bringing this up in here is that equipment mounts underneath here. There's the microphone for the chairman
So
is
Chuck,
one that has a kill button.
the problem that you're starting to run into now is we're hitting bid threshold. So
No,
remember that.
I'm doing them separate, it's only for application for this.
Okay, so, but again, so either, we have to keep them separate. So, whether we talk about it as just the Manor Borough conference table and Manor Borough sound system, two separate things. You
It's a
can still
dais.
raise this conference table and explain why you think you need it for the sound system, but we wanna keep them separate for bid thresholding, because if we get up too high, and now
Let
you
me
have
ask
to.
you this, if I made a motion to pass that exact amount they're asking, and
Yes,
then we get into this other one, can we amend that to take $400 out?
well, you can go, the way I would do the motion is to spend up to, and so that you can negotiate,
still
so that
take
you
that.
would always have the ability to reduce it, but you can spend up to the $7,000, whatever it is, $644.60.
I have a question also. Why can't we store this stuff, like in the back room or something?
Dawn, can you speak up? on-
Yeah, we can,
I'm
Dawn, we
sorry.
can't hear you, please.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Why can't we store it in there, because is that a liability? We're making the residents, using it?
Them actually using the system?
Yes.
I don't understand the liability.
If they break something,
So either paying deposits.
yeah, but the deposit is close to what it would cost
Well,
repair.
let me say this. If that was a concern, we would unplug the microphones.
Okay.
Because the biggest issue that's gonna happen here is, let's say we had it all tonight, there would be wires all the way across here connecting us and a big box sitting out front.
Right.
If we had a table, they're mounted underneath, there's one small hole, wire comes through it, so there's nothing on top of the microphone.
That was-
So that was why I was bringing them up, is so it's understood how all that fits, but
I appreciate that, thank you.
thank you. That being said,
Okay.
unless there's further questions about it, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion.
For
to
we-
accept.
You can't.
No,
Can't make
it's just for
motions.
next, you can have it for next, or,
So we can make a motion to put it on
2 weeks.
September's.
Okay.
yeah, you can put it on
Okay.
September's agenda.
Okay, then I'll just make a, it has to be that, we put it on next month, 2 weeks meeting.
The 19th?
Yeah,
Okay, and that's the motion.
yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
All right.
The other thing would be to also put this on the motion.
So let's do
Or
them
on the
separately.
agenda.
Let's do them separately.
All right, so I have a
Separately.
motion, to move it to.
You can't make
That's
motions.
why I asked.
We're just moving it, you guys are agreeing to put it on to the 19th on the agenda.
19th.
They wanna put it on the agenda for the 19th, the community.
The
room,
sound system.
The sound system.
Right. Sound system and.
And then a separate line
conference
item.
Separate line
is the
item for the
table.
table. Sorry.
Okay.
Call it a dais.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's called a dais.
Thank you.
Not a
So,
conference table,
Again, like
it's
I
a
said, I still
dais.
have more paperwork if anybody needs to see them before next meeting.
Okay. Moving on to the second one.
You can't make motions in a workshop.
I got a question before we move on. Chuck, you said you got three bids? So
Well, they're not bids,
Ah,
they're calls
estimates.
out to them, and I printed out their company names and all that kind of thing.
Is there any way we can get a copy of all of them?
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
I like that idea, thank you. All right, so now we're moving on to the second system.
American Rescue.
Or are we just going with this one?
Central Sound and ADCO.
The only thing I could talk about is, spoke to them, and each one, the one common thread they had between them was, they were all in somewhat the same price range, but they didn't have all the equipment.
Okay.
So we just ended up with more pieces, like these speakers under here, wireless microphone for the podium, and the other one, that was common. But, they had, instead of a 20-piece, they had 4 pieces and 8 pieces, you know, the earpiece for the public.
Yeah.
So, by the time we added all that back on, they all went over this.
They all exceeded the
Yeah.
original quote.
They did.
But not.
And I have these, yeah, I have these here,
Right.
just copy every one of these out.
But not the threshold,
No,
11.2, I think it
no.
is. Okay. So now I think you're on American Rescue.
I am. Discussion on American Rescue Plan funds. Discussion on American Rescue Plan funds. Is this where we also any funds? No. Okay, so anyone have any input for the third and last time? Discussion on American Rescue Plan funds.
So I just want to state, we do have to, by the end of this year, designate. So if you guys, I don't know, if you guys know where you want to designate it, I'm sure the public may want to talk about it, where we're designating the fund. I can't recall, Joe, how much do we have?
It's like 351 and change.
Yeah, I have a question about it. I'm a little lost about it. And what I'm lost about is, I think it was at the last meeting, there was a conversation about if we put it in a certain place, we can spend it on different things that could fit in that kind of category or something. And I don't understand that. Back when we first got this money, it was my understanding, when we had a public hearing and the public commented, after that, I thought there was something we were supposed to be doing to move this further along.
We had a public meeting,
Yeah, we had a public meeting,
Yeah.
and that's all we've had since. So, you know, we had things, suggestions thrown around all the time about it, but let me say this. Do we have to vote on this, Chelsea, of where this is going?
Well, by the end of the year, you guys need to designate where these funds are gonna be used.
you said need to be used by a year or?
No, then you have until, December 31st, 2026 to actually spend the funds.
Yeah, but we have to tell them now what we're spending it on, is that correct?
Correct. And
So,
they're-
and I'm just saying this, if we said, we're gonna use it to, build a library, build a police department, or pay for expenses of some kind that we had, or anything that fits in the book.
Right.
If it fits in the book, do we not have to give a list of those exact things we're doing? Or are we able to be so vague that just about anything you wanna do after that'll fit in there?
But we've already, Chelsea, that's a question for you. We've already said that we had to report annually on this, and we had to say what we were using the funds for initially, when we got the first and second tranche payment money. We said we were using it for lost general fund revenue.
Okay.
So essentially,
Did not.
we have said what we're using the funds for.
Okay, when did
We
do
just
that?
haven't,
When did we do that?
it's been a while ago.
It was prior to me even probably being.
We haven't,
John
Ryan
Ryan.
was still here. Yeah, John Ryan was.
Okay.
We haven't,
So we have minutes that says that's what we approved on that report?
We haven't approved anything yet, Chuck, that's why it's in the.
We
haven't spent the money.
Well, my question to you, Chelsea.
No, I mean, he's saying that
Hold on, but-
there was these
let-
reports that had to be sent out.
Let me finish just with my question. So my question to you, Chelsea, is we've already said that's what we were spending the funds for. So we basically have designated what the funds are being for.
You've
but
already
you're allowed to
obligated.
take- But you're allowed to take that one-time exemption.
Yeah,
And now moving forward, if you say you wanna do it on ABC project, then, and you're gonna do that, we'll say this year, then next year when I do the annual report that's due, I'll say that you spent X amount on ABC project.
correct.
But
So
because we already said that we're taking the one-time
the 10 million,
allowance,
less of
10 million or
million.
under allowance for lost general fund revenue due to the
Oh,
COVID
God, I
pandemic,
can't believe it.
isn't that essentially us already designating what the funds were for?
So I believe you still have to designate or obligate the funds. If we have to be able to say if they're lost revenues, we have to show how it's the lost revenue. Or if it's not, then we have to say, okay, by December 31st, 2024, we're looking to possibly fix the police station
Can't
and
do
make
it.
it more stable. And we wanna also do, if it's a broadband, like the sound system, a broadband thing, things that are eligible for public safety, things like that. And then your broadband, increasing your wireless here so that people can hear might cost more than the funds that you've already spent. So then the rest of it comes out of your general fund. But we don't know how much you're exactly spending to do the broadband. We don't know how much you're actually spending to fix the police station until we get the actual numbers. You see what I'm saying? So, but we do have to obligate it. We have to say, okay, we want it to be spent on these projects, because if we just say lost revenue and we don't have the line item of showing the lost revenue, then we're gonna lose those funds.
And John did tell us that.
Yeah, because really, if we're gonna, this $10 million threshold, that are you saying that if we can claim up to $10 million of lost revenue and not have to justify it?
No.
Yes.
No.
It's
No.
weird, there's a standard allowance. It says the treasury is encouraged, and it's essentially municipalities, to utilize the standard allowance of these funds, which allows municipalities to claim up to 10 million in revenue loss, funding each regardless of the actual loss of revenue. However, the revenue loss cannot exceed the size of the grant. Municipalities had to choose whether they're going to use the standard allowance by April 30th, 2023 reporting deadline. Local governments may spend these funds on government services. That we had to do, but that doesn't mean that you're obligating these funds anymore. We still have an obligation to obligate these funds to whatever project you want to do by December 31st, 2024.
Yeah, because
It's spent.
if I'm hearing that right, it tells me
Yes.
that anyone who received less than $10 million in this American
They're all
Rescue
gonna claim
Plan,
it.
everyone could just say, we're not answering anything, we're claiming it.
Right,
In our
but you
case,
still have to
if Mike sat down and figured out how much we truly did lose in earned income, which is probably the only place we would have lost income from.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he could tell you the year before and whenever this ended, when it came back up again, how much is in there. And it's nowhere near 350,000, because annually, what do we get in earned income, Mike?
Doesn't matter. You don't collect it.
Oh, that's right, that's, yeah. They could print that number out in a heartbeat. Year over year, how much did we lose? And it's, that 350, we're not gonna dent it for how much more that people weren't getting any income.
But I don't believe this council is going to use that as where it's getting spent. And that's where John was telling us at the time. This was a one-time thing, so we didn't lose it at that point. And then we would have to designate or obligate where we were going to spend it.
And then spend it by 26.
Correct, that's why.
Right, So now we have 2-3 months
Correct.
to really bang our heads into where exactly are we all going to sit here and vote on spending $350,000 before our last meeting in December?
Correct.
Well, I do wanna say, you guys talked a lot about bathrooms, you talked about basketball courts, you've talked about
Sound
police
systems?
stations and sound systems, envelopes out there,
ADA doors,
things like that, 88 doors.
We
So
need 88
again, you
doors.
have a lot of things that you could obligate, doesn't mean, you could say you're gonna do it on all those things, and then you hit a threshold, you know, your project done, you spent it all, I don't know.
Can we use it, could we spend it, any of it now?
You could, yes, you could start spending it
So
now,
if
as long as
we did this
council.
sound system, can we spend that money now, as long as we know we've done our homework and we're sure it fits in these guidelines?
Yes, and I believe, well, first of all, people that can hear whatever's going on is gonna help them in an emergency situation,
Yeah.
increasing getting Wi-Fi in here and Bluetooth capabilities, increasing your broadband. There's no question that that's gonna fall within the scope.
So really, we have 3 meetings now to basically get all this together and
You got a
figure out,
bathroom that we've been talking about for 2 years.
what's that?
The ADA bathroom down at the park.
Yeah,
There's a big chunk of it right there. The sound system is a big chunk of it. Like Chelsea said, you can claim, pavilion,
I
the
understand.
picnic tables and stuff like that.
No, you
That can
can't.
all be claimed under that.
Didn't you get a grant for all that
Spent the
stuff?
money already.
No, you can't.
well, actually, that park is part of all these things we just mentioned, that's the big nut of that money, but it still leaves us a fair amount of money to keep moving on. We can have it spend another time next year.
Yes,
So do we come in here in 2 weeks and throw some ideas on a list? Pass the list out amongst us, and by the next meeting, get ourselves close enough to say, we gotta get numbers on these things?
We also talked about cameras in the park,
Yep.
and, you know, that's all part of that broadband.
I'm waiting for a revised number on the cameras, because some things have changed in the last year or so since we got the number. Also, part of that was gonna be, not the IT guru, but we were gonna be able to eliminate the internet bill at the police station and through a point-to-point system, because we have to go into the park anyway for the cameras to function and work. And the police station would piggyback off the internet out here. We're gonna be able to eliminate that $90-100 a month internet bill for the police station.
And how much is it gonna cost us to wire this so that we don't pay $100 a month?
Well, it's for the cameras in the park mainly. Because we're doing that, we can piggyback off of that to do that. So I don't have a number yet.
and I believe.
And those cameras monitors should be in the police department.
What?
That monitor should be in the police department
What monitor?
for the park.
Yeah, they can have access to
And
it.
when you're talking to them, do they also have the ability that if the camera goes off at night, it goes to a cell phone or something that officers are holding? If the
Well, that-
park's closed and the cameras
Chuck,
go
I
off.
think that's something that we can talk about.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, but we can say, hey, we wanna do this. That's part of.
So can we bring that together for the week meeting in 2 weeks?
Correct.
Okay.
So we're gonna have our ideas to you, Joe. We'll have our
So
ideas
the
to you.
point-
Can I interject?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So when we had that workshop meeting, and we first talked about this, I did ask anybody that had an idea to send it to me, so we can send it out.
Right.
I think what happened.
I said the bridge
is
over here, let's read
I think
the
what happened
bridge.
tonight was right there. When she just sat there and said to us, you got all these things in front of you, like the park and the sound system. She said that, I think it just opened us all up to, okay, we already have it. I think, I have been thinking of something else. I never thought about these things.
Didn't I bring this up?
What about the sewer
Didn't I
system?
bring
I
this
mean,
up like
who's
6
gonna
months
pay for
ago?
our trip to Hawaii now?
No, they brought that up in September 2022, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying a reminder, hey,
Anyone
we gotta
else
spend
have
this money.
discussion on?
Yeah.
But you can't use it for all that stuff.
Or anyone else have 2, discussion on resolution needed for local share account category 4 facilities program grant.
After the last meeting, the council authorized that we were gonna put in for that grant for the fire department. I went and looked at the program requirements, and one of the requirements is that we have to pass a resolution before we can do anything.
So this is really just a procedural, so we have to do a resolution for it, so we should put this on
For September 18th,
19th, yeah.
or 19th.
Yeah.
Can we make a motion tonight just to guide her to bring that in for the next meeting? We don't need to do it.
If you don't, then we're not gonna be able to pass a resolution on the 18th.
That's what I mean, if we make, until we pass.
I'll have the resolution ready on the, for
Oh,
the
you don't have it
18th,
ready, you
yeah.
have to do that?
I can have it ready for the 18th, you guys can pass it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
19th, I'm sorry.
Chelsea, do you have a copy of the model that they have in the program size?
I think I got the, I don't know if I brought it with me tonight.
I have, I can send it to you.
Okay. That would be great.
So essentially, we're just going to notify them that they need to come to the September 19th meeting to discuss. Huh?
No, we just need a resolution.
We just need a
on the
resolution.
For it?
Council needs to pass a resolution authorizing Borough to put in for the grant.
Okay,
Right, that's all.
okay. And the last item is discussion on veterans banners.
All right, so being a veteran and going through Greensburg, plus I had a resident ask about them. I thought about putting, where I wanted to get information on putting the banners through the town of veterans, current, past, in the town. And so I asked Jerry, we talked about it, and I asked Jerry to get some help, and Jerry, could you, it's in my head, I think. Could you tell them what you found out, like what Greensburg, how they did?
Yes, Greensburg has a company, I got the company's name. The banners cost $250. The holders for the banners cost $150. And what they did was, they put the application on the on their Facebook page or their website. And anybody could fill out an application to have their family's picture put on a banner on the poles, as you see throughout the towns. And that's how they did theirs.
So what I would like to do, or see happen, is A, on our web page, put this information, and B, if we can advertise in a couple papers to see how many people we got. If we don't have enough veterans in Manor, maybe we can go to firemen, you know, we can branch out a little bit. But also, we would have to go around to see how many telephone poles we have, not that we can't put
Well, there's
two
two
on
on
there.
there.
There's a ton.
I think there's enough poles, but, I know in North Huntington, Irwin, the Chamber of Commerce does it over there, but do you need permission from utilities to put those up? Because you have West Penn poles and you have Verizon poles.
So that's, would have to be, let's find out how many people are interested in it, because they, as Jerry said, the family would pay $400. And we would get the banner for them and put it up, so.
How we put
Well, the
them
ones
up.
in Greensburg are on streetlights. I mean, their own
Right.
metal lights.
Mhm.
So they own the pole.
Right, so we would
So
have
they
to
don't
ask,
yeah,
we would have to ask
yeah,
if we can.
yeah.
And Irwin.
I would assume that they would probably allow it,
Yeah, well, they don't climb them anymore.
but we need to find out how many people. I think the very first thing, I tried to go being,
I called the county and they told me they didn't have any
Right.
listing of veterans.
I went
was
to the
surprised.
American Legion, because I have that access,
Yeah.
and we couldn't even find out from the Legion.
Well, I contacted him for my father-in-law. My father-in-law was a World War II fighter pilot. I wanted to get it up for his 100th birthday, so he could see it. They were just so behind and delayed, didn't make it. He passed after his 100th birthday, so, and it hasn't gone up since. So, but yeah, it's a bit of a process in Greensboro.
Irvin does it too, Jim.
Listen, the Chamber of Commerce in North Huntington / Irwin, one of the chambers of commerce is a business. I'd given Jim a name, I forget who it was for, that's who handles it over there. I think.
We have a
Norfolk Chamber of
veteran,
Commerce or somebody handles the veterans chambers over there.
we have a veteran.
We need above their name to have an additional rider that is company sponsored.
Okay.
That the company sponsor pay $400 because our issue is if it's the same $400, you know, my father-in-law didn't want to talk about the war much, most guys from that time didn't. Did they really want their faces on the polls? So we may have that here as well, is how many people really don't want their face up.
I think it needs to be.
Now, if it's a relative that passed, I guess maybe it's easier to put it up. But, you know, how many people are gonna spend that $400? Can we get company sponsors to come in? A little rider above it?
Well, I think again, first thing for me was let's find out how many people have interest in it.
There you go.
Because maybe you get enough
know-
of them made, maybe it'll be less than $250 for
Yeah.
Right.
a banner.
Jen,
No, it's still the
And
same.
then we
Doesn't matter
go,
how many.
you know, we
Yeah.
would probably have to, like, rent a bucket truck to put them up, if we're allowed to put them up, so
Yeah.
we'll have some costs involved too.
Yeah.
But let's find out how many people are interested. I mean, I just think it's
I have a question.
one of those things that I think we should.
I think we should let you go do your exploratory and.
Well, we need to advertise it.
Yeah.
So Jim and Jerry, just to let you know, we have a gentleman, a veteran up at the Elks that, gets with the Rotary for Irwin that does that exact thing. And they get donations from people or businesses or from
But
organizations.
we don't have a lot of businesses. North Huntington Irwin has
Right.
a lot of businesses.
And that's step 2 of the process. Step 1 is
Too
to
many
find out
chiefs
how
and
many
not
people.
enough
If
Indians.
you'd like their number, I'll give it to you.
It's gonna cost you a fortune.
Well, we can't vote on anything tonight, so.
Right.
But
I mean,
I want,
Jim-
if
Do
I
we make a
make put
motion
this,
to advertise? No.
You can do it on the 19th.
Okay.
It's
So,
18th
we
or
move
the
to have this
Every
put back on
time
the
you
agenda.
sign, Joe's
Make
got
that-
a piece.
14 plus 4.
The downer.
Table,
Mhm.
Jim, you want this table to the 19th?
yeah,
It's the 18th.
I'd like to put it on.
It is the 18th, everybody, so
He's
that
the
you
old
put it out there, Jim, please, say 18th. Oh, God.
Can I,
Well, we gotta vote on advertising, we can't do that tonight.
Jerry and Jim, you may be able to answer this. So like, for me, my father was a vet. Though he never lived in Manor, does that mean I can't purchase a banner for him?
So I think first and foremost for me personally, and council is 7 members strong plus a mayor. I think first and foremost, I would like to see Manor residents first.
Right.
If there's 3,000 Manor residents and we only have 1,000 pools, then I would say no. Right? If there's
No.
50 residents and we have 1,000 pools, then I say we can expand it out to other things.
If you're just talking like Main Street, 993, there's quite a few poles in
And
the
up
borough
Sandy
limits.
Hill, a major road.
So that's where I think the advertising gotta come first and find out
Mhm.
how many people.
Right.
So should I show interest or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can show it.
Yes,
Because
Tony, yes.
You are technically a resident of Manor, so.
Okay. My question.
Does that make sense? What I,
Yeah.
in my head,
If
think
we,
that
yeah, before you spend a lot of time trying to put a program together, make sure we got interest, that's a good point.
Jerry, if you'd like the number of the gentleman.
No, thank you.
No?
No. You may give it to Jim if he wants it. I don't want it.
Jim, you met Don Rowan. Don Rowan, the one that issued out the checks.
Probably, yeah, I did meet.
Yes, that's who's been doing it for about 10 years now. Everyone Rowan.
I mean, hey, we might get 3 people, and at 3 people, it might not be worth doing, so,
I already got one.
and you too, right?
Another for myself.
And here's the thing, Jim.
Not me.
Even if you start out with 3 or half a dozen or a dozen, I think once you start putting them up,
People are
that's gonna
gonna be
generate
interested.
interest too from people saying,
More
hey,
interest,
you know.
yes.
Yeah,
Hey, Jim,
Yes,
you
sir.
require a picture
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
person? You require it? What if they don't wanna put their picture, but they'd like to put their name?
I've always seen.
I think they have
They all
some
have
in
pictures.
Greensburg that they have like a silhouette, you know.
Because I think
something
people
like-
might
Oh,
wanna.
no, I
know
haven't
that you're
seen
at
the
that.
silhouette one, Jim.
It just doesn't have the picture, but it has the picture without the actual face on it. And then
Could
it
do
just
that.
says, Jerry Lewis, US Army. Hero, Jerry Lewis, US Army.
No, I was asked in Greensburg to put mine up, and I said, no,
Well, but this is your hometown, so.
this isn't my hometown.
Okay, moving on. Correspondence. Okay, approval to pay the bills.
Motion.
Wait, Bill. Oh, I just have a question on one.
Dave. Second for a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the motion?
Yeah, that's on 8/22, we sent a check to, Manor Public Library for $6,000.
Correct.
How many times a year does that happen?
Once.
Once.
And this is always the same time of year now?
No, it kinda got lost in the shuffle this year. Normally it goes out earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually that April.
Yeah, usually April or May it goes out.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Voting, all those voting aye, all those voting nay. Motion carries, thank you. I need a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments on the motion? All right, we'll return shortly.
All right, I'll do that. My sister-in-law, she does. Yeah, they clean the ducks and everything.
You don't remember that big boring problem.
Commercials with them cleaning up.
There you go.
Even though I don't think it's
Are you
anything
like
else.
2?
She says OxyClean it, Dawn.
That enough.
For what?
To get out stains,
Yeah.
mix it together.
Okay.
That's what I
They
do.
don't.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Do I have a
Jeez.
motion to return?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those against?
And we were for legal and personnel matters,
Yes,
for executive session.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And what matters were those?
Legal.
You know you're supposed to
Give a
state
little
what they
detail.
are.
I can give a little detail.
Yeah, you should give a little detail because you're supposed to give a
Okay.
little detail, even before you go in.
Well, potential litigation with,
Me,
parcels, parcels in, lots 11 and 12 of Sandywood Place, and, personnel matters for, we were talking about,
Please.
Police.
oh, the police, yes. I wasn't really involved. That's it.
All right.
Oh, that's Jerry.
Jerry,
yes, President Lynn.
comments?
Yes, am I recognized?
You are, ma'am.
Thank you. First is, let's go to, the sound system, community room sound system. What are you talking about having to do bids? Are you gonna post it again?
No.
In the
there-
newspaper, or are you just gonna buy one of which is suitable?
I think council's looking to put it on the agenda for the one that you were looking, that you read through. It was for the $7,644.60. My issue legally is having, if I end up putting the desk,
It's a
And-
dais. It's called a
the
dais.
dais, and the sound system together,
Yeah,
you're
that-
gonna end up getting above the thresholds, and we have to put it out for bid. So I don't wanna do that, because the sound system's a sound system, the dais is a dais.
Right. Okay,
Wouldn't be a formal bid.
Well, no, if you add 7,000 in not, roughly,
16.
oh, okay,
Yeah, it'd be three telephone clubs, or
okay.
What is it, 23.5,
23.
23?
so that it's not going out for bid.
Right, but we
Okay,
got
but
3
you'll just-
quotes for this, for the
Okay.
sound system.
So you'll pick one of those sound systems, the
Correct.
next meeting, September the 18th.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I need to know, thank you, because to forward this information, I did not see the other 2 sound systems that Mr. Cherry was talking about, but since he explained it was similar, then, okay.
They are, yeah, let me clarify it again then. It's, the one that you and I saw?
Yes.
The one I gave you pieces of, everybody at council now has that as well. That's the one that my initial search found it to have all the pieces and the best price out there. So what I did was the ones I looked at in the past, in order to meet the requirements of, I think it's probably done to keep us honest, is it a comparable price? So I went back to those sites, called those people, printed out their information, and just started talking to them about, I mean, this, and that. And by the time I hit the price that we had on the one you looked at, there were still pieces that need to be added into it. So I let them talk a little further and said, okay, I'll let you know. So those 3 were higher than the one you looked at. So my hope is that at the next meeting, I can go over this again and we can make a motion to take that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Second one is art funds. My one question is, you keep talking about the art funds, using it for a bathroom, ADA bathroom down there, picnic tables. That's not what art funds are for. You better start reading
Jerry.
the regulations of the final
I have a
rulings with the
solicitor that
Department
says
of
what we can use it for
Treasury.
and not use it for.
Okay, because I know where you're going with this. And there's one thing I want to know is, you had a 50% match off of the CBDC in the DCNR. And I'm putting it right to nose because I want to know how much money you paid on that match so far. Because I have a feeling you want to use the art funds to contribute to the match. Well, we're going to find out.
We can find
We're gonna find out, because your revenue, how you're doing revenue is wrong. And I wanna see all the records on the lost revenue, because when we had the meeting in September, when Tony set up the special meeting, we talked. It was brought up that this money, and I was the first to speak, was to go to the people, and you didn't give one resident 1 penny. 1 penny towards COVID supplies or anything. No money to the food bank, no money to the Manor Lions. The library came and asked for money, which they were entitled to. No money was given to them. They were top priority.
Yeah, it should have been for the
And
people.
you asked me to go ahead and figure out, well, we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do applications. Go ahead, cut me off. Because if you cut me off, you know that I will extend this conversation to people higher than you. You either hear me out or you get more complaints. Because what you're doing is wrong. Because you're wrong. Because we went to that meeting, I got the application, because Chelsea brought it up, Mr. Cherry brought it up. How do we give the money out to the people? What applications may we need? How do we know their income? What do we need? This, I got all that information and was never asked. And that money should have went to the people first, instead of you wanting to put it, use it for a bathroom, ADA tables, all this other kind of stuff, should have went to the people first.
Yeah, she's correct. But it's benefiting the people, but.
No, you did not benefit the people at the time when they were laid off.
Right.
When they didn't have money to buy food, to pay their rent, to pay their mortgage. That's what that money was for, Dawn. That's what it was for. Read it.
I have, but our solicitor also has.
No, she hasn't.
Okay, any other comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, and second?
I'll second it.
I was gonna say, you all have to say something. Okay, so who seconded it? Thank you, thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, you read the reason why you're opposed.
Your vote is just 6-1. Because he wants to